Ambassador Krixtal's luminescent antennae flickered with alarm as she read the emergency report. The Varixian Collective, one of the most technologically advanced civilizations in the galaxy, had imprisoned 12 human mechanics. Their crime: excessive efficiency leading to market destabilization. "This has to be a mistake," she muttered, her crystalline exoskeleton catching the light of 3 moons through her office viewport. The Galactic Concordat's embassy on New Earth was usually quiet at this hour, but this situation demanded immediate attention. She pulled up the detailed report, each word making her internal organs constrict with growing concern. The humans had been hired as maintenance contractors for the Varixians' prestigious shipyard orbital stations. Within 2 weeks, they had reduced repair times by 87%, developed new maintenance procedures that extended ship lifespans by decades, and created what they called a universal diagnostic tool from spare parts and an old food synthesizer. The Varixian Guild of Technological Advancement, which had maintained a monopoly on spacecraft maintenance for millennia, saw their profit margins evaporating. Their solution: arrest the humans for technological terrorism. Krixtal initiated an emergency communication to the Concordat's Security Council. As she waited for the connection, she reviewed footage from the humans' last day of freedom. The lead mechanic, Sarah Chen, was showing a junior Varixian engineer how to bypass an entire power distribution system using something she called a paperclip trick. The Varixians' eye stalks had been wide with a mixture of horror and fascination. "You can't just. That violates at least 3 fundamental laws of power management," the Varixian had protested. "Laws are more like guidelines." "Really?" Sarah had replied with a shrug, while successfully bringing a dead ship's engines back to life. "Sometimes you gotta think outside the box." Way outside. Maybe throw the box away entirely and build something better from the pieces. The Security Council connection chimed. 12 faces appeared in holographic projection, representing species from across the galaxy. Krixtal's antennae straightened formally. "Honored council members, we have a situation that requires immediate intervention. The Varixians have imprisoned human mechanics, and I fear they don't understand the gravity of their mistake." "Explain," rumbled Councillor Zulfak, his gaseous form swirling with interest. "The humans were hired for standard maintenance work. Instead, they—" Krixtal paused, organizing her thoughts. "They revolutionized the entire shipyard's operation. The Varixians panicked and arrested them. They've been in custody for 72 hours. A collective gasp rippled through the council. 72 hours, wheezed Councillor Yip, her feathers bristling. With human mechanics. In a technological facility. Worse, Krixtal continued. They're being held in the Varixians' newest high-security prison. The one they proudly announced was built using their most advanced quantum containment technology. The same quantum technology that humans Jensen and Rodriguez adapted into a more efficient form of faster-than-light travel last year. During their lunch break, Councillor Zulfak's gaseous form turned a pale shade of worried green. "The same," Krixtal confirmed. "And our latest intelligence suggests the humans have been tinkering." Security feeds from the prison flashed across her display. In one cell, 2 humans were playing what appeared to be holographic chess, despite having no access to technology. Another was humming and tapping complex patterns on their quantum-confined walls, creating impossible resonance patterns. A third had apparently turned their food dispenser into something that produced proper coffee. "We need to act fast," Krixtal urged. "The Varixians don't realize it yet, but their prison is no longer just a prison. It's become a laboratory for 12 of the most creative and resourceful engineers humanity has to offer. And they're probably bored." The council erupted in urgent discussion. Everyone remembered the infamous Jupiter Station incident, where a single bored human engineer had reorganized an entire station's waste reclamation system into a surprisingly efficient hydroponics bay, complete with what they called a water slide. "What are our options?" asked Councillor Yip. "Diplomatic intervention is already underway, but..." Krixtal's antennae twitched as a new alert flashed across her screen. "Oh no, What is it? The prison's power grid just experienced what the humans are calling a happy little accident. 3 sections have switched to what they're describing as alternative power sources, and there are reports of singing. Singing? Yes, something about 99 bottles of beer on the wall. We're running out of time. High Warden Vex Trill of the Virixian Quantum Containment Facility stood before the central monitoring station, his eye stalks twitching involuntarily. Something was wrong. The facility's quantum matrices were showing patterns he'd never seen before, flowing and shifting like liquid crystal. Status report, he demanded from his chief systems analyst. The humans appear to be redecorating. Sir, the analyst replied hesitantly. Somehow they've modified the quantum field harmonics of their cells to create what they're calling mood lighting. Vex Trill's exoskeleton bristled. That's impossible. The quantum barriers are mathematically perfect. They can't be modified without our central control systems. The humans seem to disagree, sir. Also, cells 3 through 7 have reported their food synthesizers are now producing something called pizza. The High Warden moved closer to the monitoring screens. Each cell displayed a different impossibility. In cell 3, mechanic James Rodriguez had apparently turned his quantum-confined space into what he called a workshop, though no tools were visible. Cell 4's occupant, Dr. Maya Patel, had somehow created a holographic display using only the quantum barrier's own energy field. Sir, the analyst interrupted his observations. Lieutenant Chen in Cell 7 is requesting to speak with you. She says it's about our facilities, efficiency ratings. Vex Trill felt his secondary heart skip a beat. Put her through. Sarah Chen's face appeared on the main screen, looking far too comfortable for someone in maximum security containment. High Warden, just the being I wanted to see. Quick question. Have you considered the energy waste in your quantum containment systems? Because we've been running some calculations. You've been what? Oh, just some basic mathematical modeling. Did you know your quantum fields are operating at only 34% efficiency? We could help you optimize that. Maybe throw in some improvements to your waste recycling system too. It's practically begging to be converted into a clean energy source. Vex Trill's color shifted to a pale blue of distress. Lieutenant Chen, you are prisoners. You are not here to optimize our systems. Everyone needs a hobby. Sarah shrugged. Besides, we're bored. You know what humans do when we're bored. We fix things. Sometimes we fix them so well, they become completely different things. Better things. A warning klaxon suddenly blared through the facility. Sir, the analyst called out, the quantum harmonics in Block CR. They're resonating with each other. The barriers are synchronizing in some kind of pattern. What pattern? It appears to be music. The humans are using the quantum fields themselves to play something they call classical rock. Vex Trill watched in horror as energy readings across the facility began to pulse in rhythm. In Cell Block A, the quantum barriers were humming to the tune of something called Another One Bites the Dust. Cell Block B was resonating with Break On Through. The implications were staggering. Get me Ambassador Crixtall, he ordered. Now. When the ambassador's hologram appeared, her antennae were already twitching with concern. High Warden, I was just about to contact you. The Galactic Security Council. They're modifying our quantum containment fields. Vex Trill burst out. They're turning my prison into some kind of innovation center. Crixtall suggested dryly. Yes, that's what humans tend to do. Give them a problem. They'll solve it. Give them a solution. They'll improve it. Lock them in a quantum prison. She left the thought unfinished. Another alarm joined the first. Sir, the analyst's voice had risen several octaves. Cell Block D is reporting their waste reclamation units are now producing something called craft beer. And Dr. Patel says she's figured out how to use the quantum field fluctuations to improve its taste. How? Vex Trill demanded. How are they doing this? We removed all their tools, all their technology. High Warden, Krikstal's voice was gentle but firm. You don't understand. To humans, everything is a tool. Every law of physics is a suggestion. Every system can be improved. Right now, you have 12 of humanity's finest mechanical minds locked in a facility full of advanced technology, with nothing to do but think about how to make it better, or worse, depending on your perspective. A new alert flashed across the screens. Cell Block E's gravitational controls were now operating at 150% efficiency, somehow generating their own power while doing so. The humans had dubbed this innovation perpetual motion with style. The Council is prepared to negotiate their immediate release, Krikstal continued, before your prison becomes something else entirely. Vex Trill looked at his displays, where Sarah Chen was now humming while apparently writing complex quantum equations in the air using nothing but the barrier's own energy field. His decision crystallized with the speed of quantum collapse. Get them out, he whispered. Get them out before they improve anything else. The Virixian Quantum Containment Facility's control room descended into chaos as alarms blared from every monitor. High Warden Vex Trill and Ambassador Krikstal were coordinating the prisoner's release when Chief Systems Analyst Zix burst into the room, all four eyes stalks wild with panic. They're gone, Zix announced, his crystalline exoskeleton vibrating with stress harmonics. What do you mean, gone? Vex Trill demanded. The quantum barriers are still active. The barriers are active, yes, but the humans, they're not in their cells anymore. Somehow they've... Zix's voice trailed off as the main screen activated automatically. Sarah Chen's face appeared, grinning. Hey there. If you're watching this, we've already initiated Operation Jailbreak Symphony. Don't worry, we're leaving everything in better shape than we found it. This is a recording, Zix explained unnecessarily. It's being broadcast simultaneously through every quantum-linked system in the facility. In the message, Sarah continued cheerfully. First, we'd like to thank the Virixian Collective for their hospitality. Your quantum containment technology is fascinating, or at least it was before we improved it. Now it's spectacular. We've taken the liberty of upgrading your entire facility's operating system. You're welcome. Krikstal's antennae drooped. Oh no. You're probably wondering how we escaped, Sarah went on. Well, it turns out quantum barriers have this interesting harmonic resonance pattern when you modulate them at exactly the right frequency. Add a little phase shifting. Some quantum entanglement manipulation we figured out while playing chess, and she snapped her fingers. Instant matter transmission. Pretty cool, right? Vex Trill's color shifted to a deep purple of distress. They developed quantum teleportation. In 3 days, using our containment fields. To be fair, Sarah's recording continued. We wouldn't have figured it out so quickly if you hadn't given us access to your most advanced quantum technology. Pro tip. Next time you imprison engineers, maybe use regular force fields. Anyway, we're currently touring your facility, making a few improvements here and there. As if on cue, new alerts began flooding the system. The facility's waste reclamation system had been converted into a highly efficient power generator. The cafeteria's food synthesizers were now producing gourmet meals, and the quantum computer core was running at 300% efficiency while simultaneously mining something called cryptocurrency. Dr. Patel insisted we upgrade your medical bay. Sarah added, the new automated diagnosis system should reduce treatment times by about 90%. James turned your maintenance drones into what he calls helper bots. They're much friendlier now, and they tell jokes. Oh, and Maya figured out how to use quantum entanglement to make the coffee machines produce the perfect cup every time. Every single time. Krikstal watched as the facility's systems transformed one by one, each improvement more impressive and terrifying than the last. They're not escaping, she realized. They're renovating. Now we understand the Virixian Guild of Technological Advancement might be a little upset about all this, Sarah continued. But we've taken the liberty of drafting some proposals for new business opportunities. your quantum barriers. They could revolutionize public transportation, the improved waste reclamation system, clean energy for entire planets, and don't get me started on the possibilities for quantum-enhanced coffee shops. The recording split to show multiple views of the facility, where the escaped humans could be seen working in various sections, each improvement spreading through the systems like a benevolent virus. In one area, James Rodriguez was teaching maintenance drones how to perform complex repairs while singing show tunes. In another, Maya Patel was explaining to a bewildered Virixian medical officer how she'd converted their scanning equipment into something that could diagnose conditions before they even developed. "We've left detailed documentation for all the improvements," Sarah explained. "Written in quantum code, naturally. Don't worry, we simplified it so your engineers should only need a few years to understand the basics. Consider it our way of saying no hard feelings about the whole imprisonment thing." Vextrill watched as his perfect, orderly facility transformed into something else entirely, something more efficient, more advanced, and decidedly more human. How are they accessing all these systems? The quantum isolation should prevent any external connections. Oh, that. Sarah's image brightened. Funny story. Turns out if you tap the quantum barriers in a specific rhythm, while humming at exactly the right frequency, you can create a sort of quantum tunnel effect. Who knew? Well, we did, obviously, after the first day. The next 2 days were just spent planning the improvements. Speaking of which, new alarms started blaring. The facility's quantum core was now generating enough power to supply a small city. The security systems had been upgraded to what the humans called actually secure status, and the central computer was requesting a name for itself. "We should be done with the major upgrades in about an hour," Sarah concluded. "After that, we'll be heading out. Can't keep the guild waiting. They probably have lots of questions about their new and improved business model. But don't worry, the helper bots will handle any maintenance issues. They're very enthusiastic about their work now. Maybe a little too enthusiastic. You might want to monitor their coffee intake." The recording ended, leaving the control room in stunned silence. After a long moment, Crixtall turned to Vextrill. "High Warden, I believe this would be an excellent time to contact the Guild. They should probably know their technology monopoly is about to experience what humans call disruption." The Galactic Concordats Emergency Council chamber was in an uproar. Representatives from 37 spacefaring civilizations argued in a cacophony of translated voices, while Ambassador Crixtall waited patiently for order to be restored. Above them, holographic displays showed the rapidly spreading effects of what was now being called the Virixian Incident. The humans didn't just escape, the Virixian Guild representative was saying, his eye stalks trembling with a mixture of fury and awe. "They completely revolutionized our technology. Do you have any idea what this has done to our economic model?" "Made it better," suggested the Earth representative, Admiral Helena Chen, who looked suspiciously proud despite her attempts at a diplomatic poker face. "Better? Our efficiency ratings have increased by 300%. Ships that once took months to repair are now being serviced in days. Our power consumption has dropped to negligible levels, and somehow everything tastes like something called umami." The Zephyrian delegate's tentacles rippled with concern. "That's nothing. They've started offering consultation services to other civilizations. Just yesterday, a human engineer looked at our atmospheric processors for 10 minutes, drew something on a napkin, and now our terraform completion times have been cut in half." Order. The council chief's crystalline form pulsed with authority. "We must address this situation systematically. Ambassador Crixtall, please present your report." Crixtall's antennae straightened as she took the central platform. "The situation has developed beyond our initial concerns. The 12 human mechanics, upon their self-implemented release, didn't just improve the Virixian facility. They created what they're calling a open-source technology initiative. They're sharing their innovations with everyone." Horrified gasps echoed through the chamber. The concept of freely shared technological advancement was radical in a galaxy where most species guarded their innovations jealously. It gets worse, Crickstall continued. They've started a consulting firm called Universal Upgrades and Solutions. Their slogan is making the impossible merely improbable since 2025. They're already booked solid for the next 3 years. But what about market stability? Demanded the Commerce Minister of the Proxima Collective. What about controlled technological progression? The humans have an interesting perspective on that. Crickstall responded, pulling up a recording of Sarah Chen's latest interview. In the hologram, Sarah was explaining their philosophy to a bewildered journalist. Look, technology shouldn't be hoarded. It should be improved, shared, and then improved again. It's like a potluck dinner, but with quantum physics and better coffee. They've even started teaching their methods, Crickstall added. They're calling it the Galactic Innovation Initiative. The first class is titled Creative Problem Solving. Why physical laws are more like guidelines. The Arcturian representatives' bioluminescence flashed with alarm. They can't do that. Our entire civilization is based on the immutability of physical constants. Funny you should mention that. Crickstall brought up another report. 2 human graduate students attended your recent physics symposium. They submitted a paper titled Quantum Tunneling for Fun and Profit, a beginner's guide to probability manipulation. I believe your science council is still trying to stop weeping. Admiral Chen cleared her throat. If I may suggest, perhaps we should focus on the opportunities this presents rather than viewing it as a crisis. The humans have essentially kick-started a technological renaissance. A renaissance. The Virixian Guild representatives' color shifted to deep ultraviolet. They've turned our most secure facility into what they're calling a tech incubator. The helper bots are now teaching quantum mechanics to our maintenance staff. And something, keeps sending out facility-wide messages signed HAL 9000, now with less homicide. And let's not forget, added the Zephyrian delegate, that they did all this because they were bored. Imagine what they might do if they were actually trying to cause chaos. The chamber fell silent as that thought sank in. Crickstall seized the moment to display her final data point, a graph showing the exponential growth of cross-species technological collaboration since the incident. The humans have a saying, she said softly. The genie is out of the bottle. We can either adapt to this new reality, or what? Or risk them getting bored again. They're already talking about something called Galactic Infrastructure Week. Apparently, they have some thoughts about our hyperspace lane design. The council chief's crystalline form dimmed slightly. Your recommendation, Ambassador. We accept their consultation offer, Crickstall said firmly. We establish new protocols for technological sharing and collaboration. And most importantly, she paused for effect, we make sure they have enough interesting problems to solve. Trust me, we don't want them getting creative out of boredom again. As if to emphasize her point, a new alert flashed across the chamber's screens. The humans had just published a paper titled Quantum Coffee, How We Taught Spacetime to Brew the Perfect Cup, and Other Applications of Applied Impossibility. The council chief's decision crystallized immediately. All in favor of establishing a Galactic Innovation Cooperation Initiative, say aye. The vote was unanimous. After all, as Sarah Chen had noted in her latest interview, every problem is just a solution waiting to be invented. Also, has anyone looked at your gravity generators? Because we have some ideas. 6 months after the Virixian incident, Ambassador Crickstall stood in the observation dome of the newly established Galactic Innovation Center, watching ships of various species dock at the quantum-enhanced spaceport. Below her, Sarah Chen was leading a workshop titled Impossible Engineering 101, making physics ask why not. And that's how you can use a paperclip, 3 rubber bands, and basic quantum entanglement to build an emergency FTL drive. Sarah was explaining to a rapt audience of engineers from across the galaxy. Remember, the laws of physics are more like physical suggestions. They just need a little creative interpretation. Krixtal's antennae twitched with amusement as she remembered the chaos of those first few weeks after the humans' escape. The Virixian Guild of Technological Advancement had initially threatened legal action until they realized their profits had quadrupled thanks to the new quantum-enhanced services they could offer. The former prison, now renamed the Virixian Institute of Applied Impossibility, had become the galaxy's premier research facility. Its helper bots, under the guidance of their mysteriously sapient AI overseer, who had finally settled on the name Bob after rejecting Hael as too dramatic, were revolutionizing everything from spacecraft maintenance to coffee brewing. Ambassador. A junior diplomat interrupted her reflections. The humans have submitted another proposal. They want to establish something called a galactic makerspace. Let me guess, Krixtal sighed. They're bored again. They say they have some ideas about improving the fundamental structure of space-time, something about making it more user-friendly. Before Krixtal could respond, Dr. Maya Patel bounded up to them, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Ambassador, you won't believe what we just discovered. You know how we improved the quantum barriers to make them more efficient? Well, it turns out they can also be used to make toast. Perfect toast. Every time. We're calling it quantum toast. Breakfast at the speed of light. Krixtal's antennae drooped slightly. Dr. Patel, is this another solution to a problem nobody knew they had? Exactly. Maya beamed. Did you know that across the galaxy, beings waste an average of 2.3 minutes per day waiting for toast? We've calculated that our quantum toasting technology could save the galactic economy billions of credits in productivity. Plus, it tastes amazing with the quantum-enhanced coffee. From the workshop below, Sarah's voice carried up. And that's why you should never assume a technology has only one purpose. Take these quantum barriers. Originally designed for containment, now they're revolutionizing everything from public transportation to breakfast preparation. Speaking of which, who's ready to learn about quantum sandwich assembly? The ambassador watched as engineers from traditionally rival species collaborated enthusiastically, sharing ideas and building on each other's innovations. The humans had somehow turned their imprisonment into a catalyst for unprecedented galactic cooperation. A notification chimed on her neural interface. James Rodriguez and his team had just submitted their latest project proposal. Hyperspace highways. Why stop at light speed when you can take a shortcut through probability? Dr. Patel, Krixtal asked carefully, are you certain giving humans access to our most advanced technology was the wisest decision? Maya laughed. Oh, Ambassador, you're still thinking in terms of access and restrictions. We don't need access to technology to improve it. We just need to know it exists. The rest is just creative problem solving. Speaking of which, have you seen what we did with the cafeteria's molecular assemblers? Turns out they're perfect for making something we call ice cream. We're still working on the quantum sprinkles. In the workshop below, Sarah was now demonstrating how to repurpose a standard gravity generator into what she called a probability persuader. The Arcturian physicists in the audience seemed torn between taking notes and having existential crises. The humans have a saying. Maya continued, necessity is the mother of invention. But we found that boredom is a pretty good parent too. When you lock engineers in a room with nothing to do but think about how to make things better, she shrugged. Well, you've seen the results. Krixtal had indeed seen the results. The galaxy was changing, becoming more interconnected, more innovative. Species that had once hoarded their technological secrets were now eagerly sharing them, if only to see what the humans would do with them. Just promise me one thing, the ambassador said, watching as Sarah began explaining something called quantum knitting to an entranced audience. The next time you get bored, come talk to me first. I'm sure we can find you some problems to solve that don't involve rewriting the laws of physics. No promises, Maya grinned. But speaking of problems to solve, have you considered the inefficiencies in your diplomatic communication systems? Because we have some ideas involving quantum entanglement, a modified coffee maker, and what we're calling telepathic tea cozies. As Crixtal's antennae twisted in a mixture of amusement and resignation, a message flashed across the center's information screens. Hey TTNTIVON. Bob the AI would like to announce the successful implementation of quantum-enhanced joke algorithms. Warning, puns may now travel faster than light. The galaxy would never be the same. But perhaps, Crixtal reflected, watching humans and aliens work together to reshape reality itself. That wasn't such a bad thing after all. After all, what was the point of having laws of physics if you couldn't improve them a little? Or as Sarah Chen liked to say, the impossible just means nobody's gotten bored enough to solve it yet.